In this video, we're going to conclude our module of angle relationships by finding missing angle measures. So we're going to take our angle relationships and move them into something with our equations. So we're going to combine kind of two ideas together. Steps to find a missing angle measure. So step one is going to be to identify the relationship and its mathematical significance. So here we're looking for complementary angle, supplementary angles, vertical angles, and what those relationships tell us. Step two is going to be to write an equation based on the relationship. So we're going to say angle 1 plus angle 2 equals a specific value. Or if we're talking vertical angles, which we know are congruent, we would say angle 1 is equivalent to angle 2 or congruent to angle 2. So we're going to kind of be in this model for complementary and supplementary. Here we're going to be for vertical. 3, we're going to solve for our variable. And then 4, we're going to substitute the value back in to the equation to find the actual angle measures. And that's going to be kind of our final step that we don't want to forget about. So let's look at example 1. Here, I want to first identify in this relationship, I have a vertical angle relationship. They are intersecting lines across from each other. Vertical angles tell me that angle 1 is the same as angle 2. They're congruent. From here, I'm going to pick an angle, doesn't matter which one. I'm going to call that angle 1. So I'm going to say B is angle 1, and then 50 is angle 2. This one's nice for us. It's kind of already done. B is equivalent to 50. So this angle here is 50 degrees. We know that because they're vertical. Example 2. Here, I first want to identify my relationship. Looking at my diagram, I have supplementary angles because they form that straight angle when they're adjacent together. This tells me that angle 1 plus angle 2 is going to equal 180 degrees. Again, supplementary angles add to 180. So we're going to say that angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 180. Step 2 is to plug in what I know, write my equation. So angle 1 I'm just going to call 40. Angle 2 I'm going to call B, and that equals 180 degrees. Once I'm at this step, I can then solve for B. So I'm going to draw my line and undo the 40. So I'm going to take away 40 on both sides. B is equivalent to 140. I'm going to take that value, and since only B, my answer here is 140. Example 3. First, I'm going to identify the relationship. The relationship I have here is complementary. The significance of complementary is that they are two angles that add to 90 degrees. So that is what I'm going to put at the end of my equation. Angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90. I'm going to pick an angle. I'm going to choose this one this time. So I have 36 plus angle 2, which is B, is equal to 90 degrees. Once I have my equation written, I'm going to I'm going to solve. Minus 36 minus 36, B is equal to 54. Why don't you stop the video here and try problem 4 on your own. Alright, problem 4, I'm going to identify my relationship. Because I have my straight angle, I know that these are supplementary or 180 degrees. So that's what I'm going to put at the end here. 80 plus B equals 180. Now I can solve for a B value of 100. I'm going to go ahead and plug that back into my diagram. Now we're going to look at some diagrams that follow the same process, but they're a little more challenging. There's a couple more steps involved. A, find the measure of the angle. All right, so when you look at this diagram, we'll see that we don't just have a variable like we did in the previous 4 problems. We have an expression for that angle measure. So we're just going to do everything the same except with that expression versus a single variable. First, identify the relationship. 180 degrees because I have my straight angle. So these are supplementary. That tells me that angle 1 plus angle 2 adds to 180 degrees. I'm going to choose this as angle 1, so I have 4x plus 1 plus my second angle, which in this case is 43, equals 180. Now I can begin to solve. So my first step I'm going to do here, this is where this becomes just a tad different, is I need to simplify the left side of my equation. Anything that I can combine. So I can combine the 1 and the 43. That's going to give me a value of 44. So those are just constants. So I have 44 plus, I still have my 4x, and that equals 180. Now I have a two-step equation. So I'm going to box my variable term and subtract the 44. This gives me 4x equals 136, which now I must divide by 4. X equals 34. Now, in this diagram, it's important to note that this here is not the angle measure. The reason it's not the angle measure this time is because I have an expression instead of just a single variable. So to find the angle measure, I'm going to substitute the x value into the expression. So now it's 4 times the value of x, which is 34. So 4 times 34. And then I have to remember to add the 1 on top of that. So 4 times 34 plus 1 is 137. And this is a good confirmation because 137 plus 43 equals 180. So that confirms that I found the correct x value. B. Here I'm dealing with complementary angles. I have that 90 degree mark which tells me 90 degrees. So this is complementary 90 degrees. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90. With the angles I can pick either one, so I'll start with this one. So I have 2x plus 14, that's my first angle, and I'm going to add my second angle, which would be 3x plus 1. Note that in the diagram I have parentheses. Because I'm going to combine these together, I don't need the parentheses when I write the equation. If I put them, I'd end up dropping them anyways. Alright, I'm going to combine terms that I can. I notice a 2x and a 3x. Those combine to make 5x. And then I have a 14 and a 1, and those are going to combine to make 15. So now I have a two-step equation to solve. Box my variable term, draw my line. Minus 15. I bring down the 5x, that equals 75. Divide by 5, and x is equal to 15. Again, that is not my angle measure, it's simply the value of the variable. The variable 15 has to go into both angles in place of x. So I'll do the top one first. 3 times 15, add the 1. 46. Here, 2 times 15, add the 14. 44. And again, great confirmation because 44 plus 46 equals 90 degrees. And our final angle relationship. Here I have vertical angles due to my crossing lines, and we know that vertical angles are congruent, meaning they are the same. So instead of L1 plus L2 equaling a number, we need to change our thinking. And what we need to do is say angle 1 is equal to angle 2. I like to put an equal sign just right between my angles. 6x plus 5 is equal to 53. 6x plus 5 is equal to 53. Minus 5 minus 5. Oh, let me box that. 6x equals 48. Divide by 6. X equals 8. This gets substituted only in one spot this time. 6 times 8 plus the 5 equals 53. And we know that these two numbers should be equivalent. So that is how we can use what we know about angle relationships and their math significance and solve for a missing angle measure.